Hello, welcome to the Formula Racing League. This is the Super Sunday F1 Championship. Round 17 takes us to Silverstone in Great Britain. And this is the location where Dixon can clinch the title with 5 races to spare. All he needs to do is score at least 7 points or something along those lines. Or if Santi, his championship rival, does not win the race, the title will be going to him. Realistically, Dixon has the championship in the bag. It's just a matter of when he will clinch it. And can he do so on home turf here at Silverstone? We'll have to wait and see. It's a full qualifying session. This is Q1. We're expecting 17 drivers participating in this one, so there'll be 2 drivers being eliminated at the end of this session. The top 15 will go through to Q2. And it's looking rather overcast here at Silverstone, so don't know if there's any rain on the horizon. Dixon saying hi. Hello, Dixon. If I could be informed on the weather forecast, that would be very much appreciated. So we've got a few driver changes for today's race. Permis replacing the driver at Ferrari. Han is in place of Cavu at Red Bull. At Haas, Rizzlesticks is replaced by Ollie, RL. At McLaren, Scenario is replaced by Sniper Scrace, and the vacancy at the McLaren, which was previously Luna Ascaris, is being filled in by Dan Pace. And finally, Very, who would be at the Renault seat, is replaced by Safdar. And we have got a driver out on the racetrack. That's Ollie. He'll be aiming for a place in Q2. In case you want to ask who are the realistic ones to be knocked out at the end of Q1, well, since I've already said 2 drivers, you're probably looking at Lucky Boff, Han. Those are the 2 favourites, I'd say. Haven't seen what Dan Pace's pace is like, but we'll find out during the course of the next 18 minutes or so. And Rizzlesticks watching from Portugal. A very sunny Portugal, apparently. Hello, Rizzlesticks. Hope you are well. You can see Ollie making his way through the hangar straight. And they've been told by Dixon that it's expected to be a full wet race. I'm muddling up on my words at the moment. It's a full wet race, which, to be honest, it's typical British weather if you ask me. But Ollie is coming round to start his first time lap. He just needs to get a banker lap in, really. Only 2 drivers are going to be eliminated by the end of this. And he's overdone it. He's overdone it on that occasion, which means he'll have to back off and go again. Who's the next driver to cross over the line? It's the McLaren of Sniper Scrace. Can the McLaren driver find a good lap here? I'm confident he'll do so to put himself in the top 15. So regards for the championship, the gap is 149 points between Dixon in the lead and Santi in second, with 156 left on the table. Dixon just needs to be leading by at least 130 to clinch the title here at Silverstone. Sniper Spray's coming through Beckett's. This is the hanger straight into the last sector of the lap. And sooner or later we'll expect to see some time. Someone has gone off at farm. That'll be the Haas of, I think it's Ollie who's gone off there. He's already had a lap time invalidated. And Sniper Sprays goes over the line and he's posts the first time of the session. It's a 1 minute 26.6. Softar crossing line to start a lap. Then we've got Leppy. He's faster in sector 2 than Sniper Sprays. It's a 1 minute 26.0, 0.6 faster than the McLaren. Next up is Santi crossing the line to start his first time lap. Han will be crossing over the line to start her first time lap of the session. Dixon going fastest on a 25.9. Getting his lap done and out of the way. The next driver crossing over the line will be the AlphaTauri of Rune, I believe, but he is on. And Ollie's gone off again, by the looks of things, in the Haas. Rune is on an outlap, so we'll come away from him. Lucky Boff as well is also on an outlap. Pimm's getting out of the way of other drivers. They won't want to be parked there for too long, otherwise you could see him being disqualified, being parked in a dangerous location. Softar on for a decent lap here. Into the last turn. Before the Hamilton straight, it's a 25.9 for him. Goes second behind Dixon. Here's Santi in the Haas. He's aiming to get a time within the 25s. It's a 25.9, less than 200ths away from Dixon's fastest lap. Han crossing over the line for Red Bull to post a 28.7. That's not quick enough for her, so she will most certainly need to go again. Lucky Boff going over the line. Well, it's the other Mercedes actually of Dixon. I think he's just done another lap. He'll be either making his way back into the pits or he'll be completing another lap here. Here's Rune in the AlphaTauri. And this is going to be a time in the 25, so I should think it's a 25.9 that puts him third. So we've got 4 drivers posting a 1 minute 25.9. Lucky Boff over the line to 27.2 for him. He goes ahead of Han, but he's not quick. He's not quick enough in my book. He'll need to go again. Statistics King also out on track. Pimis posting a good time so far, but he's coming into the pits actually. And Statistic King, 1 minute 3.1. Dixon over the line, it's a 25.4. That's the lap time more representative for the championship leader. And we've got the... Where's Statistic King? He's gone... It's not Statistic King, sorry. It's Leppy who's gone fast. He's on a 25.3. It's a good lap, actually, from Leppy. He's managed to find some pace on this lap. Jay Hartnell going third on a 25.8. Night Shadow also on a fast lap. Rear wing open. Coming through Club. Over the line on the Hamilton straight, it's a 26-0. So Siskin going off the track, presumably to move out of the way of other drivers who are on fast laps right now. There are still 6 drivers who have yet to post a time in Q1. The Bullfan is one of them who's just started his flying lap in the Racing Point. Dan Pace likewise. And the Bullfan looking to keep his car within the confinements of the racetrack. Ollie's also on a flying lap. So we expect to see these 3 crossing over the line very, very shortly. Is Night Shadow also on a fast lap? I think he is actually, so we'll go to him. It's a 1 minute 3.4. He's a whole second away, so he's not going to be going any faster, I don't think. We'll go to Liverpool Fan. He's got DRS open on the Hangar Straight. Into Stowe he comes. Night Shadow heading into the pits, which won't impede Liverpool Fan's effort. And it's that time for Liverpool Fan. It's a 25.4 that puts in 3rd. What about Dan Pace? He says that time invalidated, so he'll need to go again. Ollie's next up in the Haas. It's a 26.7. Sniper's Grace on a better lap than before. 9th quickest at the moment on a 26.6. Over the line now comes the McLaren. It's a better time than before. There's no change of position, so he stays 9th. Dan Pace needing to keep his car within the confinements of the racetrack here as time is running out. There's over 6 minutes remaining, so there's definitely enough time for drivers to get a fast lap in. Big Bob Bells is making his way out onto the circuit now. BX37 Pro still in the pits. Dan Pace is just looking to get, I would say, into the low 1 minute 26s with this run. It's a 26.8. He goes 12th with that time. Pim is going to 2nd fastest on a 25.3. Over 200s away from the fastest that is set by Leppy. Lucky Boff a 10th up from his previous best in sector 1. Dan Pace looking to improve on this lap as well. Lucky Boff needs to find more time really. Needs to get into the 1 minute 26s at least. Let's see what his time in sector 2 is like. Ideally a 1 minute 2. It's a 1 minute 2.9, half a second up by this stage. So he could go ahead of Dan Pace here, and Sister King and Ollie. And Dixon's retired from the session. That's not a problem because he's stuck in the pits. Therefore, he'll be able to go through into Q2. Into the Hamilton straight now. It's a 26.4 for Lucky Boff. Goes in front of Ollie, Statistic King and Dan Pace. Big Balls Bells is on the fast lap now. Hannah also making her way out onto the circuit, aiming for a better time than before. That's BX37 Pro making his way out onto the circuit. He's left it so late. It's just over 4 minutes remaining. Coming into Vale, then Club. Big Balls Bells should be in the 1 minute 25s here. It's a 1 minute 25.5 that puts him 5th behind his teammate. So that pushes Han into the drop zone. Statistic King's on a better lap than before in the Alfa Romeo. Probably looking at a low 1 minute 26 unless he can find a little bit more time in the last couple of turns. Very nice, actually. Didn't get any kick of oversteer on the exit. It's a 26-0, puts him 11th ahead of Sniper's Grace. Lucky Boff has spun. I think he was trying to get into the pit lane, actually. He's got enough time. Softar on not a better lap, but he's down by 7 thousandths from his previous best, so continuing on. Han has just started her fine lap. Could be her last one of qualifying. Feel free to get involved in the conversation, guys, as this session is going on. And Statistic King's backed off on this occasion. Ollie is also on his outlap. Didn't see what Han's first set time was like. Oh, and Han's lost it. Han's into the barrier and she's crashed out. So Han will take no further part in qualifying. She got on the curves too much on the exit of Loffield. There's the McLaren going past. That's Dan Pace, who I think is going to make it through, actually, because of what happens next, because BX37 Pro is still in the pits. So Han will not be taking any further part in this session now. She will not be improving. I think BX37 Pro's session is done as well. So we've got our 2 eliminated drivers at the end of Q1, Han and BX37 Pro. Ollie wants to improve on his time though. Softar up to 3rd in the Renault. Nearly a 10th up in Sector 2. There's a racing point ahead of him. That's Big Balls Bells, who's on an in lap, presumably. In fact, Softar's coming into the pits. Oh, and Jay Hartnell he's retired from the session in the pits, and Liverpool fan is also retired in the pits. Ollie has crashed into the barrier, pushing too hard, and he's messed up that lap. So, just waiting for drivers to cross over the line, and Dan Pace has overdone his run, so he won't be improving. And that, unless Big Balls Bells can improve his time. That is the end of the session. So the Mercedes of Lucky Boff has crossed over the line to start one final lap. Big Balls Bells could maybe try and go fastest if he's quick enough. Coming out of Beckett's, it wasn't the best line on the exit there. No, he's not on a quicker lap than before, so Big Balls Bells may want to just think about coming into the pits at the end of this lap to save tyre life. No, he's carrying on his way. The checker flag has fallen. There's only 2 more drivers needing to cross over the line. There's Big Balls Bells and Lucky Boff. Big Balls is crossing over the line, and it's a 1:25.7, which is not better than his previous, so he stays in 6th. Lucky Boff is on a better lap so far in the Mercedes though. It's 1 minute 2.9 through there, which is exactly the same time by this point on his previous run. He's back, he's coming into the pits. So the session ends with Leppy fastest, but it's Han and BX37 Pro who are eliminated at the end of Q1. So confirmation of those who are eliminated, Han and BX37 Pro will not be taking any further parts. The top 15 go through to Q2. It's time for another 15 minutes of qualifying. We'll be losing the next 5 slowest drivers at the end of this one. And we'll see the top 10 battling it out for pole position in Q3. Expect to see the cars coming out at a much faster rate than we did see in Q1. Some going out on the medium compound. So we've got Ollie, Dixon, Pimis, Leppy, Big Boss Bells, Lupolfan, and Santi already out on circuit. The McLaren of Sniper Scrace, I think it is. And a few more heading their way out. So at least we get to see a lot more black tyres coming at such a faster rate than we saw in Q1. And Dixon going back into the pits. Probably going to go onto a set of the soft compounds. But Ollie carries on to start his first time lap of Q2. Now, is that rain coming down onto the circuit? Not sure if there's any rain, any drops coming down. Dixon saying he had way too much fuel in the car. That explains why he's gone back into the pits. Here's Ollie. He's kept the car within the limits so far. So 1 minute 2.2 by sector 2. Entering Vale and now Club. And this should be the first time of Q2. It's a 25.5. It's not the quickest we've had so far in qualifying. We've got Pimis who will be crossing over the line next for Ferrari. It's a 25.3. Goes to top spot. And then it's the Racing Point, the Liverpool fan, in third on a 25.7. Santi going fourth on a 25.9. Sniper Scrace going fifth on a 26.7. It's not very fast from him. Dan Pace is next up in the other McLaren. It's a 26.1. Lepi's next in the Alfa Romeo. It's not a representative time. Safdar is coming round. Big Boss Bells goes second on a 25.4. Safdar 25.5 for him. Rune over the line for AlphaTauri. It's a 26.6 on the mediums. Lucky Boff over the line. It's a 26.4 for him. Night Shadow for Williams. It's a 26.2. Jay Hartnell's had his lap time invalidated, so he will be going again. Leppy's on a fast lap right now. Got quite some traffic to get through at the moment. And Leppy's overdone it. So Leppy will have to go again. Sniper's Grace on a better lap so far in the McLaren. Just going to move him up the order. The answer on this occasion is yes. He goes up to 9th ahead of Lucky Boff. This is Jay Hartnell, one of 3 drivers yet to post a time of any sort so far. Big Boss Bells goes fastest on a 24.8. That is the fastest time we've had in qualifying so far. Dixon out again on his mediums. Now the amount of fuel down, I should think. 1 minute 2.2 in the second sector for Jay Hartnell. He's targeting a place in Q3. Dixon coming through Cops. Hoping that his time on the means will be enough to get him through to Q3. He's probably needing to be in the 1 minute 2 or 1 minute 1. It's 1 minute 2.2. Entering Stowe now. Coming out of Club onto the Hamilton Straight. It's a 25.5, which is a very good time on the mediums there for Dixon. That should get him through. Statisticking over the line for Alfa Romeo. It's 9th fastest for him. It's a 26.1. I expect him to go again, though, before the session is done. Leppy's having to go again for Alfa Romeo. So at the moment, in the bottom 5, we've got Sniper Grace, Lucky Boff, Rune, Leppy, and Jay Hartnell. So Leppy coming through Maggots and Beckett's. DRS open. It's a 1 minute and 1.9. So we should expect him to go to the top of the timing pages with this. So Leppy entering Vale and now Club. It's not quite going to be the fastest time in the session, but it's good enough to put in P2. Six minutes to go. Jay Hartnell, the only driver yet to post the time. Statistic King is the driver at risk in 10th on a 26.1. To get into Q3, you want to be in the high 25s at least. That's the time of which Jay Hartnell will be hoping to produce. Night Shadow's just begun his next flying lap. Onto the back straight he comes. Night Shadow is into, it's a 27.1. He's over a 10th up from his previous best by this point in the lap. So he's well and truly on his way. If you were to ask me who is safe at this point, I would say the top 8 are all relatively safe. It just depends how the track evolves between now and the checkered flag. Night Shadow in 11th. Needs a better time than before to get himself out of the bottom 5. It's a 1 minute 2.2, 4/10 up from his previous best. No, he just needs to get through Stowe, Club and Vale without any issues. Don't take too many risks. Not too much curve on the entry of Vale. And on he comes, it's 25.6. So he goes 7th. That pushes Statistic King into the drop zone. Dan Pace's lap time's been invalidated for exceeding track limits. Likewise with Sniper Scrape. Jay Hartnell goes 12th on a 26.2. So not good enough from him. Rune over the line. 10th fastest. That pushes Dan Pace into the drop zone now. So Dan Pace back in the pits. I'd like to think he's got another set of soft tyres that he can use. He's Lucky Boff, slowest of all 15 drivers so far. He's on a much better time though, and it's 11th fastest, but it's not enough to get him out of the bottom 5. He's less than a 10th away. Jay Hartnell's on another flying lap though. He's 1,000th up from his previous best time. Perhaps burning that a little bit more fuel may help him. Jay Hartnell looking to get through Maggots and Beckett's without any problems. Missed the apex of Beckett's. And his time in Sector 2 is a quarter of a second up. As it stands, that would take him out of the bottom 5. Rune is at risk of being knocked into the drop zone. But Jay Hartnell's coming into the pits, presumably to put on another set of soft tyres before the end of the session. Sniper Scray's out on track right now. Lucky Boff's time's been invalidated. So we'll go back to Sniper Scray's because he's the next driver about to complete a flying lap. Coming through Chapel, quarter of a second up in Sector 2 is Sniper Scrace. Difficult to say whether he's got enough to get out of the bottom 5. Probably not, to be honest with you. So if you look at the difference between Santi in 9th and Rune in 10th, you need really a lot more. Sniper's Grace just turning a bit too early. They had to back out of it in the last moment to avoid his lap time being invalidated. Goes 12th fastest on that lap. Liverpool fan looking to improve his time from earlier. Night Shadow not doing another lap time in Q2. His session's done. Dixon on the soft compounds, looking to improve on his time from before. It's a 1 minute 1.7. As it stands, he's going to be close to Big Balls Bells and Pimis. Whether he'll go fastest or not is another thing. Got just over a minute remaining. Statistic King has just started his last attempt to get out of the bottom 5. Dixon over the line to produce a 24.9. That puts him second ahead of Pimis. And now Statistic King looking to improve. Rune has stopped in the pits. He will not be going out for another flying lap. That's his session over. Neither is Santi. So you have to say Rune is at risk of being knocked into the bottom 5 right now. Statistic King's first sector time is not very quick. A 10th down from his previous best. Jay Hartnell is too far away from starting his final attempt, so he will not be improving. He's out of qualifying. Sniper's Grace also in the pits. He's out of qualifying. Lucky Boff is not going to have enough time to get round to the line, so he's out as well. Statistic King 4/10 up from his previous best in Sector 2. He's got a golden opportunity to push Rune out of qualifying. Into the last few corners. Here's Vale. Now Club. Doesn't turn in too early. Hamilton straight he comes. It's a 25.8. Goes 10th fastest. Rune is out of qualifying. Dan Pace on a better lap than before. He needs to find 2/10. In fact, no, he needs to find more than that. He needs to find 4/10 ideally. His lap time is not going to be good enough. Only a 10th quicker than before. He goes 13th with that lap time. So at the end of Q2, the drivers eliminated are Rune, Lucky Boff, Dan Pace, Sniper's Grace, and Jay Hartnell. The top 3 separated by less than a 10th of a second, which will make the fight for pole position in Q3 all the more interesting. Noble Fan making his way back into the pits. He is low on fuel. So Liverpool fan has made his way back into the pit lane. Just waiting for the game itself to officially end that Q2 session. In a few moments' time, Q3 will be commencing. So a reminder of those out of qualifying: Rune, Lucky Boff, Dan Pace, Sniper's Grace, and Jay Hartnell. So there's the confirmation of the bottom 5 that I've already mentioned. Q3 is only about a minute or so away. Don't go anywhere. This is Q3, 12 minutes to decide who will start on pole for the British Grand Prix. From what we've seen pace-wise, it looks as though that Pimis, Dixon and Leppy are the favourites to be going for Q3. Or could we have a surprise? Has someone got one final rabbit that they can pull out of the hat? We're seeing about half of the field making their way out onto the circuit. Safdar is in the Renault. Santi is likewise. Statistic King also making his way out. The two Alfa Romeos as well, with Leppy going out. Night Shadow. Ollie's already out there. So now we've got 7 drivers out on track. Others are waiting in the pits, although one of the Racing Points is making his way out onto the track. Both of them are actually, Big Balls Bells and Liverpool Fan. So Pimis is the only driver stuck in the pits. Perhaps waiting for that gap in the traffic for him to go out for his run. So Safdar looking to try and get on the front of the grid. He does usually go well in qualifying, but sometimes his race performances can be a little bit lackluster. So entering the last turn now. Pimis is now out on the racetrack, so we've got all 10 drivers on circuit here at Silverstone. Safdar will be looking to post the first time. We'll find out in a minute or so time. Rear wing open. He'll ideally want to be in the 26s. It's a 26.8 in sector 1 for Safdar. So this is a decent lap so far. Taking the shorter route past the old pit straight. Using all the curb outside. And the exit of Cops. Now, a time in sector 2, we are looking at a 1 minute 1 at this point. It's a 1 minute 1.7. This is a very good lap so far from Safdar. Pimis is just coming through Vale now. This shouldn't hold up Safdar. Safdar is coming through Vale and then Club. Hooks the car up nicely over the line to post a 25.0. Wonder if he lost time in the last sector. Dixon goes second on a 25.0 as well, but not quicker than Safdar. Santi over the line third with a 25.7. Statistic King fourth on a 26.1. Leppy has had his lap invalidated. Ollie's back in the pits. Liverpool Fan's had his lap invalidated. Night Shadow is still going though in the Williams. Big Balls Bells also behind. But Night Shadow is over the line to post a 26.3. Goes fifth. Big Balls Bells is next up, 1 minute 1.6. We should expect him to be in the 1 minute 24s with this one. And it's a 24.9. So Big Balls Bells has the advantage at this stage. Now I wonder if Leppy will decide to go on for another lap here. According to his ERS mode, it's on 2, which means he's on a hot lap. And Statistic King will move out of the way to let Leppy go by. And Pimis over the line to post a 1 minute 25.0. So it's very, very close are the times. Can Lepi join them? From what we've seen so far in qualifying, he's been showing some very promising pace. There's the Hungarian. Over the line, it's going to be a 25-1. Only 5th for him. Double fan looking to join those in the top 5. He's coming back into the pits. And the majority of the field are making their way back into the pits at the end of that lap. So Big Balls Bell's fastest on a 24.9. Then it's Safdar, Pimis, Dixon, and Lepi. The top 5 separated by just over 0.2 of a second. Then it's Santi in 6th, Statistic King 7th, and Night Shadow in 8th. Dixon coming in saying this is going to take some lap to get pole. I couldn't agree with you more. All Dixon needs to do is as far as I'm concerned, if his rival Santi was to get a maximum score of 26, all Dixon needs to do is score at least 7 points in this race to guarantee himself the title. Or if Santi does not win the race, the championship is clinched here at Silverstone. Safdar out on a outlap now. I wonder if he'll go on a fast lap, then a cool down lap, and then a fast lap on this last set of tyres. Is it expected to be a wet race? Safdar needs to find a 10th to get back in front of Big Balls Bells. Whether he'll do it or not remains to be seen. Ollie's on an on a flying lap in the Haas. He'll be hoping to be in the mix of those in the top 5. If he's going to do that, he needs to be on a 1 minute 1.6 or 7 ideally. Put himself in the frame for it. It's a 1 minute 1.9. You can see the Renault of Safdar just getting out of the way on the hanger straight before Stowe. Ollie getting a nice exit actually. Positions the car nicely, turning a bit too late into Vale. And this lap is going to be a 25-1. Goes just behind Lepi, but it's very, very close. So Ollie will go on a cool down lap before he decides to go again. Here is Safdar. There's a racing point ahead of him. He'll get out of the way at Village. Safdar with the rear wing open. He needs to be in the 26s again, ideally like a 26.6 or something. It's a 26.8. It's a very similar time to what he had posted before. There is a Haas ahead of him, which is Ollie. Rearing open, it's a 1 minute 1.7. Safdar is quicker than he is on the previous lap. I'm not sure if this is going to be quick enough to get ahead of Big Balls Bells, but he'll give it a good try in the last sector. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Safdar over the line for Renault. It's a 24.9, and he just misses out by 0.03 of a second. Ollie's starting another lap now in the Haas. Leppy he's quick in sector 1 so far. Pimis decides that time invalidated. He'll need to back off before he decides to go again. Go to... I wonder if Night Shadow's on the flying lap. No, he's not. So we'll go to Leppy. So 1 minute 1.4. It's a very fast second sector. Leppy's got a good chance of taking pole away from Big Balls Bells with this. There's Night Shadow ahead of him in the Williams, who gets out of the way. Leppy looking to take pole position at the British Grand Prix. And it's a 24.7, and he goes to provisional pole. So Leppy faster by 1.5 tenths. Here's Ollie, who's coming back into the pits. His latest lap time has been invalidated, so he won't be going any faster. Liverpool fan yet to post a time in Q3. He's about to post one now. It's a 25.5. Goes 7th with that time. Santi's in the pits, so he won't be going any higher than 8th. Statistic King is on a better lap. And Big Balls Bells is on a flyer in sector 1. This is not over yet by any means. Pimis won't be going any higher than 4th on his run. Now we're just waiting for Dixon to come through. He's just going through sector 1 now, so we'll have a look at his time in a moment. Statistic King coming over the line with the checker flag falling. Goes 7th with that time. Goes ahead of Liverpool fan as a result of that. Big Balls Bells through sector 2, 3 tenths up. He's got a golden opportunity to take pole away from Leppy with this. There's no way for Leppy to improve his times. He's just got to hope Big Balls Bells makes a mistake. Doesn't do so at Stowe. Vale and Club will conclude the lap. Big Balls Bells over the line. And he goes to provisional pole position by 3 tenths of a second. But we've still got Dixon, who is not going as quick as Big Balls Bells. But he could go 3rd on the grid with this one. Through Club he comes. And it's a 24.7 that puts in 3rd behind Leppy. And Liverpool fan is headed back into the pit lane. So Big Balls Bells is on pole position for Racing Point at the British Grand Prix, with Leppy 2nd. Dixon will line up alongside Sufdar on the 2nd row, with Pimis in 5th ahead of Ollie, Statistic King and Liverpool Fun on row 4. Santi will be very disappointed with 9th spot on the grid, and Night Shadow running out the top 10 for Williams. We'll expect the race to be much different to what we've seen in quali, not just with the cars being on full tanks of fuel, but it's expected to be a full wet race here at Silverstone. So Big Balls Bells will be delighted to be on pole, but can he keep it by the end of the 26 lap event that is coming up very, very shortly? So run down on your grid. Big Balls Bells and Leppy line up on the front row. 3 tenths was the difference between those two guys. Dixon and Sufdar, row 2 for them. Pimis and Ollie are on row 3, followed by Statistic King and Liverpool Fan on the next row. Santi and Night Shadow running out your top 10 for the grid. We've got 5 Brits in the top 8 for the start of the British Grand Prix. As you can see, the rain, as we expected, is teeming down. So any hope of dry running is pretty much gone out of the window. It's just a matter of who will be the survival of the fittest. Drivers completing their race and fuel strategies. The formation that is underway. Let's check who is on what. Well, all the drivers are on intermediates for the start of this race. So it will be a matter of who is who can find grip and who can't. There is a lot of standing water around, though, I have to say. So there's no need to use both dry compounds in this one, as it is a wet race. So Dixon, all he needs to do is score at least 7 points, regardless of where Santi finishes. However, if Santi does not win the race, the title will be Dixon's here today. Dixon will be hoping that he has saved the wet setup for this. He probably didn't go for a dry setup in qualifying because he felt that using his race setup for the wet conditions in quali would help him in the race going forward. And of course, Dixon has won 12 out of the 16 races so far this season. Can he make it 13 from 17? What a wonderful way it would be to clinch the championship with 5 races to spare. So Big Boss Bells will lead the field onto the grid. Vamu has joined us. He'll start right at the back of the grid in 18th place. Big Boss Bells takes up his position for the start of this British Grand Prix. Leppy alongside in second. What can he do from there? Dixon will be hoping for a flyer from 3rd place. So the remaining drivers onto the grid now. So just waiting for those 5 red lights to come on. When they go out, we'll be racing here at Silverstone in the wet. It's the lights out and away you go, and it appears that Big Boss Bells reacted better than Leppy. Leppy got off the line, but Dixon made an even better jump, and the wheel spin from the pole sitter has allowed Dixon to jump into the lead. Pumis has got up into 2nd place ahead of Safdar. Ollie up to 4th, and Big Boss Bells down to 5th place. He's had a shocker of a start as they come into Village for the first time. And he's side by side with what looks like the Alfa Romeo of Statistic King. But Big Boss Bells stays in 5th. We've got a car off. It looks like Safdar in the Renault has run wide. No damage is done, except he's fallen down places. Ollie's made his way up into 2nd place, and Big Boss Bells making a recovery drive. Down the inside he goes into Brooklands, and he gets his racing pipe back into 2nd place. But look at the lead that Dixon's got already from the rest of the field. Incredible start from him. Big Boss Bells in 2nd place. Ollie trying to fight back. Statistic King going side by side with Pimis. Pimis getting the time penalty at this stage of the race. Not good news for him, but there's still a long way to go yet. And a lot can still change between now and the end of the race. So Dixon out in front, 4 seconds clear already, with Big Boss Bells in second. Ollie getting into the slipstream, using his ERS to try and make a move. We've got an incident at the back. Vamu has gone off. What looks like Beckett's. He's rejoined though. Looks like BX37 Pro and Han are controlled by the AI at the moment. Probably didn't realise that the race has already started. And Leppy down in 13th place. He's just got by Lucky Boff. But what a terrible start. He got a poor wheel spin off the line, as did Big Boss Bells. Dixon's getaway was just electric. And the leaderboard is glitching at the moment, so what you're all seeing is not the correct race order. We'll have to wait until the drivers go through Sector 1 for the leaderboard to update itself. Still no change towards the front since the end of the opening lap. Dixon out in front, with Big Boss Bells in second ahead of Ollie. Sister King behind in fourth, and Sansi making up good ground in fifth place. So Sansi needs to win this race to keep the title battle going, unless Dixon was to finish sixth or higher. Drivers coming through cops. See the rain continuing to pour onto the circuit. How long will it be before drivers think about maybe going on to wet weather tyres? Probably not yet at this point. Big Boss Bells getting a little bit out of shape, exiting Beckett's and Chapel. But Dixon continues on his way, stretching out his margin over everyone else. Softar in 8th place. And Leppy down in 16th position. I don't know what's happened to him. Continuing to get out of shape. And the only drivers behind him are those who are currently controlled by the AI. Dixon. So over 7 seconds in front now. He's on fire in this race. Safdar getting past Pimis for 7th. Next up is Rune ahead. Dan Pace also fancying an opportunity to go down the inside into Brooklands. Thought better of it. And Leppy's just dropping back all the time. Dixon's relishing in these conditions. He's clearly had the car set up for these changeable conditions out there. Big Boss Bells losing time all the time at the moment. Ollie doing a fine job in 3rd place so far for Haas. Statistic King likewise. Dampo's getting a time penalty, as is Room. If I move to the outside of Night Shadow, he goes up to, well, I thought he was going to go up to 14th place then, but he didn't quite get the drive out of club that he needed to have done. So he sits behind. Big Boss Bells looking to close in, but he's losing time. He's 7.5 seconds off the pace to Dixon in front. Dan Pace get past Pimis for 8th. Leppy now getting a time penalty for track limits. And we've got an incident in Sector 1. Leppy's gone round in the Alfa Romeo. And Leppy's gone off again. He really is struggling so much. He's probably not had that car set up for the weather conditions. Vami with a time penalty to his name. And Pimis falling down the order. And, oh, he's gone off. Pimis has gone off. It looks like Beckett, the entry of Beckett's where he's gone off. And he falls down to 15th position. Luckybov trying to get past Sniper Scrapes. Softar closing on Rune. We've got the battle for third position between Ollie, Statistic King and Santi. Big Boss Bells has opened up a gap now on those guys. They're looking to go after Dixon ahead of him. And Pimis into the pits for Ferrari as he got damage to his car. Or is he deciding to call it quits? It's going on a set of, well, it looks like wet tyres. So are the conditions changing? Well, I say the conditions changing. Are the conditions getting worse for the guys? Interesting to see what pace Pimis can find on those wet weather tyres. Leppy also in the pits. He's going on a set of full wets. .6 seconds between Dixon and Big Boss Bells. So there's no reason for Dixon to be pitting at this point. So further behind Sansi trying to get past Statistic King for fourth. Leppy passed his hand for 17th. He'll soon get by BX37 Pro as well. Sansi looking to get past the Alfa Romeo as soon as he can. Will they do it into the loop? The answer is no. Now on lap 6, and Dixon's gap is 9.7 seconds over Ollie. Over Big Boss Bells, sorry. And Santi now gets past Statistic King. And Pimis is into the pits. Oh, and Statistic King spun round though. And whilst he's spun round, his teammate Leppy is also spun on the hanger straight. So it's going from bad to worse for Alfa Romeo. He rejoins ahead of Sniper Scrace in 10th. That allows Santi to go up to 4th and chase after his teammate. Pimis now back into the pits for Ferrari to change his change back onto the intermediates, and Leppy is out of the race into the pits. He will be going no further. Dixon with a new fastest lap of the race. It's a 1:38.6. 11 seconds in front now. Pulling out all the stops at the moment is the Englishman. Now Pimis will be hoping for a safety car at this point. Dixon will most certainly not hoping for a safety car, given the lead he's got right now. We're now on lap 7. Dixon open up the margin. Softar gets ahead of Rune for 5th place momentarily before the AlphaTauri fights back. Rune defending all he can. But Softar will be back for more. Exiting Loffield and through Brooklands. Dixon coming through to lap the AI cars of Han and BX37 Pro. Not sure what's happened to them. And Sansi's now past Ollie for third place. He's going after Big Balls Bells. Lucky Boff getting a time penalty now for exceeding track limits. Dixon's lead is just incredible. And Safdar all over the back of Rune again in the fight for fifth. Coming towards Cops. "13 seconds is now the margin between Dixon and Big Balls Bells. By moving ahead of Night Shadow, because the Williams driver goes off at Beckett and rejoins. Oh, and Pimis has spun round again in the Ferrari into the barrier. Keeps the car going. Where's he gone off there? He's gone off at Village, so doesn't get in the way of the leader. He's not enjoying these conditions one bit. Dixon's gap to Big Balls Bells, 14 seconds. Incredible. Safdar to the inside of Rune as they go into Cops. And Safdar, does he get himself up into fifth position? The answer is no. Rune fights back again. And doing very well to keep hold of that place, actually. And Vamu looking to get past Lucky Boff and Sniper Scrace. See Big Balls Bells in second place, Santi in third. As it stands with the positions as they are, Dixon will be world champion today. Safdar now getting a time penalty for exceeding track limits too many times. The top four don't have penalties to their names at the moment. There's someone going for a spin. That might be Pimis who's spun again, to be honest with you. He's all over the place. It's a nightmare of a race, to be honest with you. Gets out of the way of Big Balls Bells, who goes through past him. And I think Pemis may decide to duck into the pits at the end of this lap and retire. He's well out of the points. And he's a lap down. Vamu lining up Sniper's Grace for a pass. Oh, they go side by side. Oh, they did make contact, but luckily they kept pointing in the right direction. Softstar nearly getting overtaken by Dampes. Well, he is going to be overtaken now because he's come into the pits for another set of the intermediates. He'll get some clean air and track position. And Sniper Story is going for a spin on the exit of Cops. No harm done. Points the car in the right direction and keeps going. Softar will be coming up behind him very shortly though. And Softar will go past. That's at least one less car he'll need to pass on track. So Dixon's gap is 16 seconds over everyone else in this race. Seeing a few drivers into the pits now. Liverpool fan Jay Hartnell and Vamu all docking in. Jay Hartnell out on his way. Liverpool fan also. Vamu having no issues. Sniper Grace into the pits. And he's out of the race. So Sniper Grace going no further. He's clearly had enough. Dixon just truly dominant. The closest battle we've got on track is between Liverpool fan and Jay Hartnell over 11th. Into the slipstream he goes. Hartnell to the inside. Backs out of it at that last moment. Didn't want to go for it. Probably would have ended up being in the collision. So Dixon still leads. May even want to go to the end on those intermediates. Dampo's getting a time penalty for speeding in the pits. Rune also in for AlphaTauri. Both drivers out on their way. Softar will go past them. And posting a new fastest lap of the race. Softar the highest, so he's leading all those who have pitted. The top 7 haven't pitted in this race yet. There's no way Dixon will be losing the lead when he comes in. He's setting even faster times. So 37.9 for him. And Sunseat into the pits now for Haas. Where is this going to feed him back out? I wonder how close he's going to be to Sufdart. I think Sufdart may get ahead of him. He's setting some blistering laps on those intermediates. Night Shadow also in for Williams. Sunseat exiting the pits, but I think Sufdar's done enough to get ahead of him here. He has. So Sufdar goes up to 6th now, ahead of Sunseat on road, which would effectively become 3rd once everyone else has stopped. Now, what will this mean for Big Boss Bells? Will he react by pitting in at the end of this lap? Dixon's gap at the front, 18 seconds. Now, what does he do in terms of pitting? He pits in at the end of this lap. So Dixon gets the car so down in time. It's a 60 km/h speed limit at Silverstone. And Pimis has gone off again at Beckett's. Dixon into the pits, as is Big Balls Bells. Now Sufdar. I think he's going to be too far behind Big Balls Bells, to be honest with you. But Dixon will most certainly keep hold of the lead. Ollie is also in the pits for Haas. And Dixon comes back out still in P1. And Statistic King going up to 2nd on the road for now. And Pimis into the pits and out of the race. Softar going up to 4th position past Ollie. He's not ahead of Big Balls Bells. Big Balls Bells is well ahead of him. Oh, Vamu nearly losing it there. Keep the car in control. Got away with it there. Dixon just getting some temperature into his new intermediates. Statistic King will be thinking about pitting soon. Maybe waiting for a safety car, which would play into his hands. Now the only driver left to pit are BX37 Pro, Han and Statistic King. And the Scot decides to stay out for one more lap at least. We're now on lap 16, 11 laps remaining. Dixon can just feel that title coming to him by the end of this race. Now, Statistic King, by the time he rejoins, will probably get out in front of Liverpool fan. Unlucky Boff spins. Now where's he gone off there? He's gone off at Village. Rejoins. no DRS in these conditions. Dixon just getting through one of the back markers. So this is King. Surely be thinking about pitting at the end of this lap. And Dixon posting a new fast lap, 1 minute 37.0. And Statistic King decides to stay out. Dixon just ever so dominant, as he has been throughout this season. And someone else has gone off. It's the other Mercedes of Lucky Boff. That's the second time in less than a lap he's gone off. Rejoins once again. So Dixon coming through. When he crosses the line, he'll have 9 more laps to enjoy his route to victory. Big Boss Bells right behind Statistic King now as they go into Stowe Corner. Now, does the Statistic King come in at the end of this lap? The answer is no, he doesn't. And he's going to be holding up Soft Dart. And someone else has gone off. Is that Jay Hartnell? It is. The other Ferrari's off and he's broken his front wing. That'll be him going back into the pit lane. Falls down to 12th through all that. The Big Boss Bells looking to get past Statistic King into second place here. Surely he'll have more grip coming out of the loop. Now does Statistic King go defensive here? He doesn't, to the inside, and Big Boss Bells should go up into second place. No problem. Soft Art looking good for a podium here. And Lucky Boff is out of the race. Now how's he managed that there? And we've got a safety car as well. So we have a safety car, and it looks like Jay Hartnell stopped in the Ferrari. So we've got 2 cars stopped out on the racetrack. And Dixon's lead of 24 seconds is about to be wiped out. Now, does he go into the pits for another set of those intermediate tyres? He decides not. And it looks like his teammates just lost it at Vale or something. Now, Big Boss Bells is in second. Statistic King, good job he stayed out for all this time, because now he's going to come into the pits for a fresh set of the intermediates. And Safdar's now got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's really bad news for his race now. And he can't take that under the safety car. He'll have to take that once the safety car goes back in. So Statistic King's pit stop. We'll see him rejoin in 7th place. Ahead of, I think Vamu's going to be in 8th because there's a couple other drivers in the pits. No, Vamu cannot go past BX37 Pro. So we're on lap 19. 8 laps remaining. Now can Dixon keep his nerve and hold on to what could be a memorable victory that will help him seal the championship. Big Boss Bells has caught up to him now as the Sufdar, but Sufdar will be taking that drive-through penalty once the safety car goes back in. That's basically his chance of points gone. The safety car will be staying out for another lap. Sister King. He fancies a podium finish here, actually, given the state of his intermediates. So we're just waiting for the safety car to go back in. May go in at the end of this lap, but Dixon's lead has been deteriorated thanks to his teammates' retirement that brought out the safety car. Big Boss Bells is second. Safdar will be taking the most pain of them all. And I wonder if Safdar will take the penalty as soon as the safety car goes in, or whether he'll stay out for a few laps first, see how he gets on by passing Big Boss Bells and Dixon. We'll find out when the safety car goes through the second time being, whether it'll be coming in at the end of this lap or not. It is coming in at the end of this lap. So Dixon, whilst getting some temperature into his brakes and tyres, will dictate the pace. He'll decide when to go. 13 drivers still left in the race, including BX37 Pro and Han, whose cars are controlled by the AI. They are a couple of laps down. The safety car is in the pit lane now, so Dixon can go now if he wants to. He does go now, with Big Boss Bells chasing him, fighting for the victory, but Big Boss Bells has got that 3-second time penalty, which will be applied to him at the end of the race. But Dixon crosses the line with 6 laps to go. Big Boss Bells second, with Safdar third, Santi fourth, Ollie fifth, Rune sixth, Statistic King on a charge in 7th, Vamu 8th, Night Shadow 9th, with Dan Pace and Nuppelfan next behind. Now Safdar will be wanting to get by Big Boss Bells as soon as he can to try and open up as much of a margin as he can, but I doubt that he'll be able to do that. There's no way he'll make up enough time after taking a drive-through. And Rune in 6th place behind Ollie. Safdar in 3rd. Still not going into the pits, so the next time he comes round, he has to take his penalty. Otherwise, he will be disqualified. Now, Safdar's penalty will drop into 11th and out of the points. Dixon's still in the lead. There's not too much battling going on right now. Statisticking, he's on the freshest tyres out of all of them, or one of the ones on the freshest tyres. And runs wide on the curbs on the exit of Luffield. And Dixon's now got a time penalty of 3 seconds. Now that won't change too much because Big Balls Bells has got a time penalty of his own. Safdar's got a drive-through penalty to make. To hesitate, sorry. And Sante's another couple of seconds adrift. So, as it stands, Dixon's fine, as far as the race win is concerned. Now, Safdar has to take his penalty at the end of this lap, otherwise he will be black flagged. Comes in. I wonder if he decides to carry on after this. Dixon with a new fastest lap. Four laps to go. Dixon's lead 3.3 seconds. Sante in 3rd place. As it stands, by the tightest of margins, he would finish ahead of Big Balls Bells on the road. But with Safdar out of the way, he can go about catching Big Balls Bells for 2nd. There's a battle behind between Rune and Statistic King over 5th place. And Statistic King getting front as they head into Copse Corner. Oh, he went wide, did Statistic King. He tried to take a different line to the AlphaTauri. It didn't quite pay off for him on that occasion. Safdar's also got a time penalty of 3 seconds to take, but if he can get within 3 seconds of the likes of Night Shadow, Dampace and Nubblefan, he would move up a few positions. That's little consolation compared to where he was throughout a lot of the British Grand Prix. Three laps to go now. Dixon just a few minutes away from being crowned champion here at Silverstone. Big Balls Bells in 2nd, Sante in 3rd place. He knew the title was a long shot. Just hasn't quite been close enough to his rival this season. And Safdar's back in the pits, and he's probably going to be calling it a day, to be honest with you. After that, he'll be really, really annoyed getting that drive-through penalty for speeding onto the safety car. Or is he going to try and go for the fastest lap, perhaps? Into Beckett and Chappell onto the back straight. Statistic King in 6th. There's Liverpool fan in the top 10 right now. He's got a 9-second time penalty, has the Racing Point driver. Now, Dixon's got to be careful not to get another penalty here, because if he does, that could give Santi the chance to take the race victory. Not that it would affect matters for the championship. Night Shadow getting in front of Vamu on the road for 7th. But he's got a 3-second time penalty to his name. As it stands, he would fall behind Dampace. Santi now within 3 seconds of Big Boss Bells. What's happened to Big Boss Bells? Has he made a mistake somewhere? I think he may well have done, you know. As it stands, Santi would go up to 2nd by the end of this. Dixon is about to start the final lap. Once he gets round to the start-finish straight. Just weaving, just get some temperature into his intermediates before this race concludes. Breen getting another time penalty, which will drop him behind Statistic King. 1 lap to go now. Dixon. Not far away now. Big Bill Swells in 2nd. Of course, lose that 2nd place as it stands with Santi's gap to him. Dixon has done everything right in this race. Got off the line brilliantly from 3rd on the grid. His gap was as big as 24 seconds before the safety car was deployed. And he hasn't put a foot wrong, apart from getting that penalty, but that won't take anything away from what he's achieved in this race. Safdar with a new fastest lap. So Dixon won't be getting that fastest lap unless he can play out a blinder on this final lap. So here's Dixon. It's been a superlative, dominant season for him. And this race is no exception to it. Got off the line brilliantly. He's about to take his 13th win of the season out of 17 events. And he's going to wrap up the title with 5 rounds to spare. Dixon, round in the last corner, crosses over the line. Dixon wins the British Grand Prix, sets the fastest lap, and doing so, he is the Super Sunday F1 champion in the Formula Racing League. Congratulations. Big Boss Bells is 2nd. Santi lost time in the last sector. He's missed out on 2nd place by a 10th. Ollie will come home in 4th, with Statistic King in 5th. Rune in 6th ahead of Dampace. Vamu is 8th ahead of Night Shadow. Liverpool fan will take the final point in 10th place. Safdar still trying to go for the fastest lap on the last lap. But I doubt he'll do it this time. So far behind what really could have been a podium finish for him. But instead, it's going to be Nepois and an 11th place finish. BX37 Pro will be 12th, although that car was controlled by the AI, likewise with Han. But Dixon is the world champion in the Super Sunday F1 Championship, and doing so on home turf. So the driver's out on the podium now, and Dixon will be celebrating long into the night with his championship success. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Big Boss Bell's making his way onto the podium as well, as does Santi. Whilst the title may be wrapped up, there's still a battle for second place in the driver's standings as Big Boss Bells closes in by 3 points on Santi. The gap down to 11 points. So here's your race result. Dixon is the winner and the champion and sets in the fastest lap of the race. Big Boss Bells is second by a tenth over Santi with the time penalties applied. Ollie is fourth ahead of Statistic King. Rune in sixth ahead of Dan Place against Vamu, Night Shadow and Lovable Fan collecting the last points scoring positions. Safdar is 11th. BX37 Pro 12th, 3 laps behind. Han 13th and 3 laps behind. Jay Hartnell didn't finish, neither did Lucky Boff. Pimis, Sniper's Grace and Leppy were the other drivers who failed to finish. Congratulations once again to Dixon in the Mercedes, wrapping up the championship in dominant style, winning 13 out of 17 races, and the championship is still not over. Still 5 more events to come. In case you want to know which venue they'll be racing at next, to my understanding, it's the Russian Grand Prix in Sochi. And who knows, can Dixon take a 14th victory? It's not often you hear that nowadays in Formula 1, but he could do it there. Thank you to everyone that's watched it today, and we can't wait to do it all again next week, 7 PM British Summer Time on the 27th of June for the round in Sochi. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.